Hello, my name is Stedman Harrison, and I work for the Center for Creative Leadership. I'm the regional director for our work in Africa, and it's a pleasure speaking to an ILA audience. One of the questions that's often asked of our team is, how do you define leadership? It's a tricky question because we get that across cultures, across all kinds of geographic barriers and boundaries. Oftentimes even language issues play a huge role in how we define leadership. One of the things that I've come to realize is that there's often a mental model that people have in the back of their heads, a mindset about what leadership is really about. I think it has to do, in general across the globe, that the first thing that people think of often is hierarchy, position, power, potentially influencing other people, but usually from the top of a system. One of the things I'm really proud about is that I believe that people around the globe are starting to broaden the conversation around how we define leadership. The Center for Creative Leadership has a model that's been around and refined. I say a model and not a definition because it really is a framework from which we find people across the world are able to take their personal definition, if it's character-based at times, if it really has to do with how a certain person plays a role in a system, and find a space for it within that framework. The framework that we often call is DAC, Direction, Alignment, Commitment. It's a three-legged stool approach, if you would. I use that conversation frequently around a three-legged stool because I find many of our audiences can think about a time where they've seen or even sat on a three-legged stool. They know that if direction, alignment, or commitment is missing, or if it's short in terms of a leg of that stool, there's something that's not quite right. It's unsettling. We see that when people come together around common work, that effective leadership really requires clear direction, vision, alignment, that sense that people are really getting behind the course of that one vision, like a North Star might point us in a common direction. And then commitment really is that goal orientation, getting the job done, being able to complete the work. I'm often asked, is there some sort of metaphor or analogy that we might use just to describe that? I talk simple terms about people maybe saying that we're going to go from this place today by bus to another location. That's really the vision, that we might say we're going to leave from London and go out to the coast of Dover. Getting people on the bus is alignment, once we're actually all together, on the bus together, and ready to go. And of course, arriving in Dover after we leave London would be commitment, actually getting that piece of work done and being able to accomplish it and talk about it. We see that DAC takes place within organizations, within communities, within families, and it means that leadership is at play in all sorts of systems. I have a friend, Bill Draft, who wrote an important book. He calls it The Deep Blue Sea. And the notion of the Deep Blue Sea is that when we think of leadership, we're often thinking about the things that we see on the surface of the ocean, the waves, the white caps. And those are the things that catch our eye or catch our attention. That might be the prominent leader in a system. But what we fail to remember often is the complexity, all of that deep blue sea, the ocean beneath that white cap, the swells, the currents, the torrents that are taking place that make that one white cap possible at a single moment in time. This direction alignment commitment model really does define for us or provide a model that people can hang their definition from. And it seems to be helpful. We find that people are empowered through this, that they see that they have a role to play. We talk about it in the sense of connected leadership. The leadership doesn't take place only in an individual. It's not in me like a character trait, like integrity might be. But leadership is taking place between people. It's happening in the synopsis between you and me and other people. So I may have that vision, and you may be the person who is taking that vision forward, and perhaps as a follower, getting more people aligned to that one vision. And that might trade around, so there may be a time where you're holding the vision, and I play a role, perhaps getting people to stay committed, stay connected to that, and see the job done. That systems approach is very important when we expand the conversation and take leadership out of just strict corporate organizations into nonprofits, into school systems, into community leadership where it really needs to take place. It's that direction alignment commitment model when effective leadership is taking place that I think will help us solve some of the most challenging problems of our time. And so we're excited to be engaging with a broader conversation around leadership and a good model that I think helps most people hang their definition within it. It's been a pleasure talking to you. Thank you very much.